Listen to that 40-20 purr. Now some of you guys like listening to the old Iron Run, and the 40-20 still has plenty of hours in her yet. It really does do a fair share of its work around here this time of year between cultivating, running the grain auger. Granted, it does quite a bit of that in the fall. It's going to be used for cutting hay, cutting brush. We're going to put it on the brush cutter. And probably going to be on the rake a little bit here. At least that's the plan. And I'm sure it's going to end up on the tedder. So even though we do like using our newer tractors, or Ryan and I like using the newer tractors, these older tractors still do serve a purpose. Well, you guys are watching the first day of me side dressing / cultivating my corn. I ran all day yesterday. I didn't get any of that recorded. What I'm currently putting down is it's a liquid potash, a 32% mix of nitrogen, micronutrients, and I believe there's something else I'm missing there too. It's a nice little mix of nutrients I'm trying to put in. We did go through and pull soil samples, or not soil samples. We went through and we did some testing on the leaves on a couple spots of the corn, and we are not short on anything. Let me rephrase that. We are above adequate for nitrogen, so putting down the extra nitrogen was kind of a waste, I will admit. But what we are deficient in, the one thing we are deficient in, is boron, and that is also what I'm putting down with the cultivator. So, looking forward, going to be trying to manage the boron deficiency in our ground going forward. We're going to be taking another leaf tissue sample here in about another 2 weeks to see if the corn responded to the nitrogen, the liquid mix that I'm putting down. Now I am cutting it a little close with some of this corn. As you can see, the camera is mounted just above that beam on the cultivator, and the corn is just getting to where it's got to lean over to pass underneath the cultivator. And any of my farmer viewers are probably well aware that it does not take corn very long, too many days, to get past this point where I'll start knocking or snapping corn off the base from having to push it over too much. Now I am running these, let's see, I'm taking corn out right there, but I am running these row units down deep enough. I shallowed them up a little bit because I was moving a little too much corn, too much soil, and I didn't like that I was burying some corn. We did go through and swap out all of the back units with 7-inch sweeps. I like that a lot more than just the straight shank we had on them. I do like moving the soil more because on areas where we did have some weeds or even some grass coming up, with having those sweeps on the back like that, it was going through and burying, covering up that grass, and it was performing a weed management program. It was definitely taking out some weeds that were breaking through some of these chemicals. Now I know some guys would say that as far as cultivating, it's a waste of time because we have sprayers and chemicals. We can go through and spray off all of your crops. The problem I have with that, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with anybody on that fact, but the problem is that there are herbicide resilient weeds, hence the need for Roundup Ready, Roundup Ready 2, Liberty, dicamba. So I mean, chemicals are nice, they work great, but the problem is they're not a guarantee all the time. So one of my viewers down south said that they had dicamba banned in their state, so they went from having a great product that does an awesome job at managing weeds to back to what they used to use. Well, from what I understand, the weeds were a bit of an issue. Okay, well, as far as this goes, you can see how much you have to watch what you're doing. You can see my head is pretty much on a swivel because you have to be able to watch where you're going, but being able to also scan all the rows on the cultivator, because I'm guilty of it. You can pick up a piece of wood, a root, a stick, a piece of metal that was abandoned in the field some years back, and you end up taking out a row or two of corn. And the problem is, if you're driving too fast, well, granted, the faster you can go, the more ground you can cover doing this, the better. You can see I was running fairly slow yet. I believe I was in, from the looks of it, I'm in third gear, running right around idle, a little over 1,000 RPMs. And well, that might be fifth gear. It looks like it might be fifth gear. And basically just kind of putting along, doing my job. And the thing is, a lot of it is you got to be able to stay on the rows and make sure you're not taking out corn. I have a handful of bare spots in the field where the cultivator got just a little off, and you're taking out 6 rows. Not the end of the world, but it is kind of does make you grind your teeth a little bit, because it's irritating seeing a little bit of a bare spot in the field done after that. But I will defend the fact that I do like what cultivating does. You guys seem to really agree too that cultivating works great. It definitely does kind of spring the corn back to life. I definitely believe so. The liquid, going forward here, hopefully we can keep incorporating the liquid into cultivating. And the problem is, with where we're at right now, if I pick up too many more acres, I mean, I'm pretty well maxed out as far as what I can cover right now. But honestly, going forward, if I pick up too many more acres, the goal is to really get another, like a 4440, a 4430, like another two-wheel drive tractor, narrow it up, and potentially run 2 cultivators at once if we get to that point. I mean, I could also go down to just getting like a 3-point mounted sprayer and getting the 360 wide drops, if at least I was looking to do the nitrogen or the side dressing. Because the problem is, we've talked to the co-op about doing the 360 wide drops with their sprayer, and the problem is with our contours, they're a little hesitant to want to do it. But if I can incorporate fertilizer in season more and reduce the amount we're putting down beforehand, I would like to, especially if we start incorporating more of the tissue sampling, the soil sampling, the grid sampling, and trying to reduce the amount of inputs we have to have. Definitely going to start doing some variable rate fertilizer. That's going to require going through and getting some grid sampling done in our fields, and I'm planning on doing that here probably starting this fall as far as getting the grid sampling done. Previously we were just taking broad area soil samples, just get an idea about what the field was doing, and trying to be more efficient. You got to know what your field is doing and what your field really needs on an area to area basis. So, well, that's it for this cultivating video. Any questions you guys have, let me know and I'll try to get them answered. And with that, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. So until then, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.